Anthony is our data center pre-sales consultant, and today we're talking about Veritas SaaS backup. We will see Anthony outline the importance of backup of SaaS applications such as Office 365, G Suite, Dynamics, and Salesforce. Salesforce is a particular one to note, given that effective 31st of July this year, Salesforce Data Recovery Service is no longer available. The Veritas SaaS backup provides secure end-to-end protection across your entire cloud environment. Over to you, Anthony.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Sophie. I'm just going to start sharing the screen. All right. So I'm going to go through and do a bit of a SaaS backup overview. And today we're kind of going to work through like an overview of what SaaS backup is, pricing. We can have a look at some of the basic pricing around it, some comparisons to the competition in the space. We're going to do a demo on showing how easy it is to connect to a cloud provider, and then we're going to look at what the connect is themselves and what we can actually see within the connect and what we can actually restore, etc. out of it. And then we'll leave it up to a few questions at the end. Nothing too curly, I hope. All right, moving on. So just a basic overview. So SaaS is like a comprehensive data protection suite. So it's protecting Office 365, Dynamics, G Suite, and Salesforce. It's a very easy to use and set up product. It's been built around simplicity. So it takes a couple of minutes to set a connector up. You set and connect it, set it up, and forget about any of the connection side of it ever again. It's automatically backing it up. Restoration of lost data is done within a few clicks. Doesn't take very long at all to kind of get used to the interface and how you actually use it. Configurable retention times are set up in it, so you can actually how long you want to retain the data for. It's very quick and easy to find data within the actual product itself as well. You also get unlimited storage, so you don't have to worry about capacity. And it's been built around security and being reliable. So it's also one central management console for multiple cloud offerings as well. So the ability of having one console to manage things like Dynamics 365, Office 365, Salesforce, and G Suite. There's no implementation costing. There's zero storage costs as well. You can integrate your SSO, MFA, and you've got RBAC controls with it as well. There's no charges for setup. So these are some really basic overviews and some really good points around this product. It's actually quite a diverse product set, and it's very easy to use. So SaaS itself, it's data locations based in the US, UK now. I just saw that the other day. EMA as well, and Asia Pac, so based in Sydney. Within America and Asia Pac and the UK one, they're based in Equinox, and of course, and then the EMEA one is based in Global Connect. It does up to 2 backups a day. It's geographically dispersed and load balanced and mirrored between each of the regions as well. It's been done this way because then it's agnostic to the providers like AWS and Azure, so that, say for instance, if Azure went down, or which it can do occasionally, we've got the ability to still be backing up. Right. So when we also look at the architecture and how it's been built, it's using the standard APIs for doing its data transfers. It's been built against industry standards security, and then of course around the data centers, they've been built around using like 99% uptime. It's been built in a way that it mimics pretty much the services that it's actually backing up as well. So it's very resilient. When we look at the security, so there's a detailed security white paper on how the system's been put together, which we can share with you. It covers pretty much all of how all the features have actually been done and secured against it. The Veritas itself has used industry best practices around SSO, and two-factor authentication and encryption. It's also ISO 27001 certified. And against a lot of the other standards, as you can tell, with all of the multiple amounts of little logos that they've put on the side of it. So it's been built similar to what you would expect any backup or SaaS product to actually be built to, which is cool. So I mean that's the main things around it. It's a simple to use and secure product. So if we have a look at some of the things that we're backing up, so like in Office 365. We were able to do Exchange Online, so your email and your in-place archives, calendar, contacts, etc. Your OneDrive, so you're doing folders and files, and within SharePoint, you're doing all of your lists and folders and etc. Everything within SharePoint Online, and then of course groups and teams as well. So I mean, just to kind of reiterate the fact is one of the things that Sophie's actually talked about previously. Well, she talked about the Salesforce side, but in Office 365 there is actually a portion within your online subscription agreement, which actually states that you are responsible for your data, not Microsoft. So you've got the ability, right? So you still need to back it up. There's something that you have to back it up with. So there are standard retention periods, of course, but once those retention periods are up, there's no way of getting that data back. And we look at G Suite. Oh, whoopsie, sorry. Dynamics. So Dynamics is actually new. So Dynamics was introduced earlier this year, and they've got the ability of kind of doing your standards and custom entities for sales, etc. Your field service and project service automation and marketing. You can pull and restore out that data within the portal itself. So again, the same look and feel to what you would expect within the Office 365 connector, and even the G Suite one. So it's very simple to use. You can go through and just pick what you want and restore it. On G Suite, I create the same sort of things as within Office 365, the ability of restoring data out of Gmail and calendar, tasks, Google Drive, the team drives, and the sites and docs. Again, everything, they're kind of covering as much basis that you can get with within the actual product itself to restore as many things that could actually be removed or maliciously or by mistake, and in some cases there's missing the ability to actually do it because you haven't restored it within the specified retention time. Salesforce. As Sophie actually mentioned, so as of 31st of this year, data recovery is now a paid feature. Or data recovery as a paid feature will be deprecated, and it's no longer available as a service anymore. So if you've got customers which are using Salesforce, this is a great tool for backing up their data and giving them some sort of assurance that they can actually restore the data that has been deleted out of it. In the case, I mean, it's again the same sort of thing. If someone's being malicious or someone has made a mistake, you can lose quite a substantial amount of data, and with no ability of being able to restore that data, that's going to be an issue in the future. Some basic pricing overview. Sophie, you can chime in if any of this has actually changed recently. But I mean, within the corporate and government plans, we're talking about this as a per user in New Zealand pricing. I think this is very generic and basic pricing that we've actually got on this. So you're looking at between $5 for G Suite and Office and Salesforce, and then in Dynamics you're looking at $7.50 a user. And when you get into academic, which is what Veritas actually does quite often with a lot of their products, where they actually produce academic pricing at a very discounted rate, you're looking at $1.50 a user, and in Dynamics you're looking at just over $2 a user. So it's actually quite a compelling thing for academic as compared to some of our other competitors in the market. One of the things that Veritas does give you is the ability to trial it. So for customers out there that aren't 100% certain whether or not this is going to fill what they're actually trying to do, the ability of actually being able to trial it is actually it's really good. So all you've got to do is log into go to the Veritas link, this one here. And then from here, you can just go to the free trial, the 30-day trial, and you can just fill out the form, what you need, and click start your trial and sign in. It's very simple to do. If you want to do, well, of course, within the trial, there's no access to SharePoint. So if you want SharePoint, you have to go into a POC. POCs run for, if I remember right, the POCs are 90 days. So the actual trial is limited to 25 users. When you go into a POC, I think the limit on that is around 500 users, and all of the connectors are enabled within it. So you can actually do a lot more within the POC, of course, than you would be able to do in just a generic trial. But the generic trial will give you the ability of testing out and seeing what the functionality of Office 365 or G Suite would actually be like. Some comparisons to the competition. I mean, everyone's probably got one of these charts up there at the moment, but some of the big things around it that have always kind of been highlighted to me around it is one of the things is unlimited storage. So no need to actually provision any storage locally or within the cloud provider or anything. So there's no hidden cost. It's all built within the actual product set itself, and it's a very, very simple to use. So I mean, it's a simple to use interface and very simple to actually navigate and very simple to set up. And some of the even the ways of actually being able to restore things. One interface between the full products that you're covering within it, they're very similar in how you would actually go through and restore anything out of it. So with that, let's have a look at how you would actually connect the cloud provider. We'll just jump into my environment here. So this is one of our ones that we have currently. So we've been testing it out internally just to see what it's like. I mean, to actually set up a link or a connector within it, it's as simple as just hitting add and then picking which one you want. So in this case, let's just do, well, we can do Office 365, but if we did G Suite, all I've got to do is install that app locally, and then I just give it a name, and then I sign it in with my Google account, who is an admin across it. In this case, I might want to set up a Office 365 one. Let's give this one test 2. You tell I've already done test, and then all I'm going to do is I would sign in with my admin account. In this case, I'm actually signed in currently at the moment, and it would ask me a set of security questions. Oh, it would ask me if I'm going to allow the connector to actually have access to it, and then that's essentially it. To want to do it that way. Right, skip for now. Sorry, this is a new account that we're actually using. So it would ask me a question set of if I'm right with accepting what the connector is going to be able to access. I say yes, and then it goes through. If I have a look now, my connector is automatically set up. And from that connector, I can go through, and from here I can tell it what I want it to back up. So do I want it to back up calendar, I want it to back up some contact data, and I want it to back up mailbox. Now I can either select it as a 80 group. In this case, I've only got one user in this tenancy. If I could do all of company if I wanted to, or if I can go into users, I can load the users, and I can specify the users which I want to back up as well. So you could also automatically add them as you've got it as well. So I could select this. Yeah, I've already selected this user in the previous one. So, and then I can set up my retention period of how long I want to actually retain the data for. So I might only want to retain the data for 36 months, and then all I need to do is hit save, and then that connector is actually up and running and starting to sync automatically. So it's a really simple process on how to set it up. And then once that's completed, we'll just move on and actually go and have a walk through some of these connections. So if I jump back over here, this is Veritas's POC environment. So within here, you can actually see pretty much anything. We can check out and see what backups for each of them have done. So, like if I have a look at the G Suite applications, from here I can see a user. Let's have a look. If I click on the users, I can search for a specific user. Well, in this case, it's only 3, but look up John Smith and see what he's been up to. So have a look at his Gmail, and we can restore anything from his inbox itself. There we go. Mail. So if he's missing a message, pick that message out. So it's syncing, and we can actually restore it to that user. So we can either share it as a link through here. We can download it, or we can do a version, or we can restore it directly to mail. So we can find the version and then we can restore it directly back into the mailbox. So if let's go back and go into Office 365, and click on users, and in this one we've actually got a lot more users. So we'll search for. My search is disabled at the moment. It's what I'm going to do, but it's fine. So if I have a look at Michelle Young, usually within the search, you can actually, it may be doing its backup at the moment. So when it's actually there, you can actually search for the user that you're trying to actually restore the data from. So I can go into Outlook, and then I can actually do a restoration of whatever I want out of there. So I could actually just go into Inbox and restore a mail from the previous snapshot that was actually there. So there's this one here. Now again, I can share it as a link. I can download it. I can also check the versions of how many versions there are. There's a couple there. So there's one there from about a year ago. Again, I can download that as well. And on the same user, so if I go back to Michelle, we can also have a look and see what other things we can do. So she's also got data within her OneDrive, so we can also restore stuff directly out of her OneDrive or directly back into her OneDrive as well. So if you have a look in here, she's got her document data. We can see that there's folders in here, and we can actually have a look, and we can restore her data within here. So it's like I said, it's a very easy to use interface, very simple. It's easy to drive. The restoration is very simple as well, and the ability to share directly out of here is actually quite useful as well. Some of the other things we can actually have a look in here is we've got order tracking for who's actually been in and out of the system as well. So you can see who's been into the system, what they've actually looked at. As you can tell, this is me going in and having a look. So we've got full audit control within it. We've got, within here we can do users, as in say who can do it. So we can create a new user if we wanted to. So I can give them whatever role, so an auditor, full support or standard support, etc. Give them their name, an email, password, etc. against it. And also we can connect up to the SSO provider as well. So within here, we would go through the procedure of setting up our SSO against provider for that. Right. So the key benefits going through SaaS. It's simple, easy, and hassle-free to use. It's a three-step setup, as you said previously. Gets you up and running in not a very long period of time, and it's licensed per user. Unlimited storage, so you've got no extra costs as your data grows. It's a cheap and easy to use platform. You don't pay for departed users, so there's no extra cost for retaining the data as long as you need it, even for the retired and deleted users, which some of the other platforms do actually charge you for. It's on the Quebec space, of course. It's a hosted service, so no need for hardware, software maintenance, or even administration. So no one actually has to look after the system. which is great in itself, because you don't have a person like a dedicated person with a backup team looking after it. And security, and of course, you've got encryption and transit and REST. You've got to load balance and replicated data centers, the geographic geographic area. And for that's it so far. So if there's any questions,
Thanks, Anthony. That was really good. I think the one thing that we highlight from this is how simple it is, and just, it doesn't matter if you've got 1 user or 1,000 users. It's easy and pretty straightforward to scale. Anthony, can you talk to us anything about the latency?
About the what? Sorry, again?
About latency.
Latency, where within
how long it takes to going from the drag.
So latency within actually getting into the platform, or within. Yeah. I mean, the latency within the Asia Pac region is actually quite quick. So I mean, as you can see, I had two different interfaces in there. One of them is in Asia Pac, and the other one is overseas in the US. AP region is quite quick. It's very snappy between everything. So as I'm browsing through it, it's quite quick. Yeah, it's previously I've had a look at the one when it was based over in the US, and it can be a bit laggy from New Zealand, just taking some refreshers. But yeah, it's quite responsive.
Cool. We do just have one other question about air gapping work for files, i.e. if they back an encrypted file and want to restore a copy prior to encryption.
If it's been in the system before it's been encrypted, is that what they mean? So if they've had that on the system before it was encrypted and it had been backed up previously, because it would be noticed as a change. So it would be backed up within that rotation. So in between, there's usually 2 hours between each backup, from what I remember. So as it goes through, if it was captured in the first lot and then it was captured in the second lot would be encrypted, the first lot would be unencrypted.
Is it possible to use this as a cloud migration tool?
Oh, that's a good one. I think there are use cases where it has been used. But if you're going from one tenancy to another, there are probably easier ways of doing it than actually using this tool. Because when you do a restoration, you're doing a restoration to an existing tenancy. So your export, you'd be dropping into a PST form. So and some it might not be the right way of doing it.
That's great. That's cool. If anybody does have any questions that they think of, feel free to drop us a line, reach out by email or however you wish. That'd be really good. And I hope you found this useful and a benefit to you. And I hope you enjoyed your lunch, everybody. And so we'll wrap that up for now. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks,
you,
guys.
Anthony. Thanks.
Cheers. Bye.